Alrighty, so this is Thursday, 20 something, I don't know. Anyway, Thursday. Nearly end of the March, but not the end of the last Thursday of March. How's that? 24, 25, 26, something like that. Anyway. So pretty lucky here, I can get out, not see too many people and have a bit of a walk. So the last two kind of vlogs on the history, which my students might be interested in, have been on my bike, but of course I've decided to knock that entirely on the head for the time being, not wanting to put any undue pressure on the health service, or perhaps really more selfishly thinking if we did have an accident, it might take a long time for an ambulance to come, so not very keen on hanging around with a broken leg. So I thought, well, I'd have a quick chit chat with you guys while I'm walking the dog. And the dog, you can see, pretty happy. He's still young, 20 weeks old I think, and we're doing a fair bit of training with him. But again, I have suspended going to the trainer once a week for the time being. He goes to a gun dog trainer, and I'm supposed to be the one I learned from the gun dog trainer, and I'm then supposed to teach the dog what to do, which is pretty difficult. You know, I'm pretty scared of dogs, always have been, so don't really know how I've ended up with a working Cocker Spaniel chasing bees. That will change once he gets stung, I'm sure. His training's been going pretty well, but he's 20 weeks old, maybe a little bit of adolescence and trying to push the boundaries a little bit too much. So today I've decided to keep him on the lead and do a little bit of lead work training, as they call it. But just quickly on that note of me going and having lessons in something, it's actually quite a good activity for me. I like being a student, and teaching the dog how to do something based on relationship building rather than treats is challenging, but seems to have some reward. He doesn't always come back to me, but I can always get him in some way. I can always entice him in some way, which is good. Anyway, the analogy there is that I'm learning a lot. Not analogy, I don't know what the word is. Oh, the thing there is that I am a teacher of an art, and I'm trying to build a relationship with you guys, me as a teacher, you guys as the students, but hopefully you know, in a nice way. And what I'm learning in this scenario with me and the dog, I'm kind of trying to use with you guys, you know, in a nice way. Anyway, I'm sort of getting off the point. Here I am doing the chit chat, not on my bike, but I'm with the dog, which is far safer. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about how I felt being a student of martial arts up in Scotland. Well, that was where I started. It could have been anywhere, but I think perhaps where I was at a club was pretty special, and that's kind of what I've always tried to get from Banstead TKD. And that is a big sense of community. So when I turned up at the club on the east coast of Scotland in Montrose, I was a green belt. If you watch the other blogs, you'll know that I was at a club at university, and then that changed and got he binned that club, and I went to a different club, and this is one that I'm talking about on Montrose. This is one that's 40 miles away from where I lived in Dundee. 40 miles one way. I went there twice a week. Anyway, I always remember the instructor welcoming me greatly. The sessions were very hard. That's obviously what I try to give to you guys, is physically hard sessions, mentally hard sessions, but that is all good for you. What I felt was very welcomed. I was nervous. The only English in the club, I think. Not that that should be an issue, but I made it up in my mind that it was, but it shouldn't have been, and it wasn't. And during that time, I was made to feel very welcome. I felt very happy going. I did feel nervous going every single time because, you know, I got beaten up a lot. I'd never done sort of boxing before that or anything, so that was all, getting punched in the face was all new to me. But yeah, I'd learnt a good few lessons. Taking a bit of a knock. It was always billed as the school of hard knocks, where I was. Like I said, there were a couple of Marines there, and they kind of set the contact standards, which went through the club. Would I go back now and have a go with them? Probably not. I don't think I'm as hardy as I was, but we'll see. One day maybe. But yeah, I wanted to say that I felt very welcome, and I remember the instructor saying, "This club is different from all the others. Here at this club, it's a lot more than just kicking and punching." And I've said that a few times with the Banstead students. Yes, it is a lot more than just kicking and punching. Up there, we had a few social events, trying to get together, but the good thing is that after class, everyone kind of sat around a communal seating area and had a bit of a chit chat. There were changing rooms, so we could just sort of get changed into our CVs, if you like, and going to make this into a bit of a trail, aren't we? Anyway, get changed into CVs and have a chat over, probably in those days, a can of Coke and a packet of crisps, which wasn't ideal, but that's how it was. Obviously, we wouldn't do that now. You'd have a glass of water and an apple, wouldn't you? Anyway. What's that, Wes? Good boy. Negotiate difficult part here. Hang on. Then I have to saw. Ow, I forgot about the thorns and I've got shorts on. Ah. Yeah, trousers is better. Oh, there's a dog there. Where was I? We've got to let some people come through. Sit! Sit! Good boy. Sit, good boy. Good boy. Move on. Side. Good boy. So yeah, it's a bit like, am I walking into infected air? I don't think so. Anyway, a lot more than kicking and punching, and that's really stuck with me. I've got to say, perhaps through school, before teens, and then teenage years at school, I had a small group of good friends, a wide group of acquaintances. I would say the acquaintances I have no contact with today, apart from a couple. maybe a little bit of Instagram. There were some definite kind of non-friends, but a small group of good friends. Obviously I've kept in touch with, and we still see each other. But up at university, obviously I missed, didn't have those guys around, so. And I made some good friends. I've already talked about Chris and Alpha. They were my best friends there. And I say I still chat with them and get some advice on martial arts from them. But what I got from going to the Taekwondo club, apart from, let's go up there, Wes. Apart from the obvious skills and training and fitness and strength and self-defense and all that stuff, I got a big sense of community, a sense of belonging, and then I was a sense of being accepted for who I am, which is great. And it seemed to go down well. So I will always remember that, and that is what I've always tried to do. Where's what I tried to do at Banstead is I tried to make everyone feel welcome, and I know that the community that we've built is special. Said all that in a 10-year speech, and it's really nice that all the people that have been there for quite some time now. I would like to think the juniors are starting to make friends with each other. The adults are certainly friends with each other. But I am thinking about doing some, once life gets back to a bit more normal, I'm thinking about doing some get-togethers for the juniors, for the teens, and for the adults that don't involve Taekwondo, and they don't involve, over 18s only going out for a meal. Something that the teens can get together and be a group with each other, somewhere where the juniors can get together and build on their friendships. Because, like I said already, Banstead Taekwondo is more than just kicking and punching. We're building a community of like-minded people where we can learn skills for Taekwondo and your self-defense and strategies to get through difficult parts of life, like routine, i.e. now, the morning sessions online with me. Lost my train of thought. Have a look over here. This is some tunnels, World War II or something like that, I think. This is pretty cool. I would not go in there myself, but they go all the way, I don't know, down there somewhere. I think they are padlocked. I've already had a look. There might be a nuclear bunker we can go and jump in. Anyway, oh, I don't know where I was. I've forgotten now. Anyway, community. So I'd like to say thanks to everyone that has been to Banstead Taekwondo and got something really positive out of it. For the people that have been to Banstead Taekwondo and not got something positive out of it, come back and try again. I think I've changed as a teacher over the 10 years. I'm trying to be perhaps less of a silly Billy, and more this is going to sound ridiculous, offer more positive reinforcement. That's the way it should be. So rather than being negative to you, I'll try and be more positive. And I learnt that, like another time that I'm a student, is I learned to mountain bike, and that seems stupid. I'm going to have lessons to learn to ride a bike. I can ride a bike pretty well, but I go and have lessons. Another thing that I've knocked on the head, I go and have lessons from an World Cup level mountain bike racer, and one of his mantras, which I've only really just realised, is what went well, what would I change? And I've said that to you guys recently in class. And let's keep that in mind, rather than me saying, oh, that was bad, change that. I'm going to say what went well and what would we change to make things a little better for you. Anyway, that's off the point. That's another blog. Getting back to community. In summary, I felt that my introduction to Taekwondo was okay. That's up to green belt. Then my kind of middle years up to black belt was with Montrose TKD, and I felt very welcome. And I've kept in touch with those guys for a good number of years. Obviously, as time goes by, this is going back 20 years, so as time goes by, you realise that it takes longer to get in contact, and then you don't really contact people. But I would still regard, if I bumped into people there, I would still definitely, I would hope anyway, be friendly. Well, I know I would. So the three guys that I think I still kind of keep in contact with a little bit would be Master McNairn, Mr. Boydell, and Mrs. Boydell, and Mark Davis. Might be a handful of others. Anyway, good sense of community, and I hope that that's really what sets Banstead apart from your other local activities. So guys, thanks for being part of the journey, the 10 years or more of Banstead Taekwondo, and I've got more memories and thoughts on training in martial arts, whether it's Taekwondo or something else, over the next little while. Thanks again, and say goodbye to Wes.